He is in Texas covering the NFL owners meeting, and he joins us now. Good morning, David Hunn.
Good morning, McGraw. How are you, sir?
We're great. Thanks for checking in. This sounds like this is a pretty big week.
Yeah, it's hard. I think every week from here on out, it's going to be a big week because the owners are constantly making up their minds on how they're going to vote. So, I think what we'll see this week is a likely decision. Not a decision, not a vote for on relocation, but a decision to vote in January. So I think that'll be the big news of the week. I'm guessing, of course, but I think that's what'll happen. It could wait a little longer, but at the same time, and maybe more importantly, we're going to start seeing owners making up their minds and picking sides, and maybe coming out publicly. Okay,
so before we get to that, first let's talk about the meeting between Stan Kroenke and Governor Nixon, which they could have talked. They could have done this privately, but this was a public showing of this meeting. What do you take from that?
Right. So why would you have Nixon meet at Rams Park? Right. Why walk them through past the players, past the front office staff? Why make it a showing? Moreover, my understanding is Kroenke called the meeting. So that means Kroenke did all this. Why would he want everyone to see his meeting with Nixon? Well, everybody I talked to here at the in Dallas says one of two things. First, it's good for his Inglewood effort if the owners see him working with the local franchise, right? The local effort to build the stadium.
Right.
Sorry. And, second, if they lose, if the owners say, "I'm sorry, Stan, you can't go to Inglewood, you're not going to be able to move your team," then he also needs to start working with the local effort to build the stadium so he can get some input. One more thing, you can't counter you can't debate or put a counter proposal together against a proposal you don't know. So he is also, I'm not sure I'm being clear, McGraw, sorry, but he is also trying to get details so that he knows how to fight against it.
Yeah. Also, you have a quote from the Giants owner, Mr. Mara, interestingly saying all sorts of things. What's he telling you these days?
Yeah, John Mara is the owner of the Giants, and he is such a nice guy. He actually stops and talks to me when I'm asking for some help and some input. And I just had to throw it out there. Sorry. And
unlike the rest of us who just don't talk to you when you walk by.
Well, let's just say that not all the owners stop and talk.
Certainly understand.
So he really I think the most important thing that he told us was this is still the wild, wild west. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. We could go into a vote in January, he said, and not have a decision made. I think all the kind of pundits want to say this is going to be decided before the vote. The NFL is going to work this all out neatly and tie a bow on it. Mara said, we don't know if that's going to happen. We might have no idea how the vote's going to play out until it happens, until we actually vote.
Yeah, he also told you that anyone who thinks they know what's happening has no idea. He says, I've been to every meeting, I've seen every proposal, I've talked to everybody, and I'm in the room, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and he said that before, and I just think that's such a wise thing to say.
Right.
You get all these guys out there of all different kinds saying, this Stan's gone, or Stan's staying, or, the San Diego's going, or whatever. And I just think, we don't know.
Yeah. So there's been a couple of other ideas floated about David Hunn live in Dallas talking at the owners meeting for St. Louis Post-Dispatch for us. One of them is this Maryland Heights land that's now sort of cropping up. And the other one was, what if he just moves to London and everyone knows the NFL wants to go to London. He then owns Europe as the NFL Europe franchise. What are you hearing about those crazy options?
Well, so Maryland Heights stuff I am hearing a little about. And listen, everybody I'm talking to, both from Maryland Heights and from the Rams, are saying that's not what's happening. The Maryland Heights is going to be and of course Stainberg, Stan Kroenke's former business partner, sued a couple days ago,
right,
saying you stole my idea for a big retail development, that also suggests that this really was never going to be a stadium. Now, that said, no one's going to tell anybody if they buy land to build a stadium. So, this is what we would hear no matter what. So everybody's saying Maryland Heights isn't land for a stadium. Then again, that's what we would always hear.
Yeah.
So to me, I think I just keep my eye open, watch it.
Dave Peacock, in your article, you said it best, right? Things are heating up. This is now crunch time for all this.
Yeah. He said the flurry is here.
And the city has yet to put the final touches on their vote, right? I mean, the St. Louis deal still isn't done yet.
So here's a really interesting tidbit that I got yesterday, and the idea was St. Louis could actually help precipitate a vote in January. So the more St. Louis has its act together, the more likelihood there is a vote in January. Now, I talked to Clark Hunt, the Kansas City Chiefs owner,
right?
And he said, I'm not sure the two are related, but and he sits on the LA Opportunities Committee, so he's a pretty good person to know. But that's such an interesting concept, and the way it was told to me was kind of a warning, like, hey, if these guys don't get their act together, the owners might pass them up.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting idea. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting idea.
David Hunn covering the owners meeting in Dallas this week for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and always gives us time. David, be safe. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
7:25 here, Big 550 KTRS. When we come back, we'll go inside the numbers to bring you the news behind the